to the professional edge, education unlocked on Oxygen FM 96.9, reaching you from the knowledge of Ibadan in Oyo State. This afternoon, we are going to continue from where we stopped last week. Last week, we asked a question that made many of us uncomfortable. Instead of saying, why do students fail examination? We asked the question, who failed the students? We discovered that when a child fails an examination, the report card may carry the name of the child, but the responsibility may belong to all of us, the parents, the teachers, the schools, the government, and the society. Many of us called, many of you sent messages. Some agreed, some disagreed, but one thing was clear. The conversation had just started. Today, however, we refuse to stop at the blame because blame has never improved a school. Blame has never raised a YS score. Blame has never built a library. Blame has never inspired a child to read. And blame has never transformed an education system. Today, we move from diagnosis to prescription. There's no point going to see a doctor and doctor just tells you this is what is wrong with you. Doctor must also give you the medicine you are going to take to make you feel better. We are going to move from identifying the cracks, which we identified last week, to rebuilding the foundation, because every problem is an invitation to find a solution. So today, we ask the question that really matters. What must we fix? What must students change? What must parents do differently? What must teachers and school leaders improve upon? What must government urgently address? And what must society stop tolerating if we truly want better educational outcomes? To help answer these questions, once again is our distinguished guest, accomplished educational consultant, author, former head of zone, TESCOM Zone 1, Ibadan, former principal of Boys High School, Ibadan, and immediate past chairman of ANCOPS, Ibadan Southwest Local Government. He also facilitates for National Open University of Nigeria. Welcome with me to the studio, Dr. Rasheed Adekunle Fasasi. Good afternoon, sir. You are welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here again.
It's always good to have you with us.
I enjoy being here too.
Last week, we stopped at looking at the problems that we have been having, the problems of schools. Thank God, you spent many years as a principal before you became the TESCOM head of Zone 1. And so we are going to look at the diagnosis. We have looked at the diagnosis last week. We are going to look at the solutions to the problems we identified last week. And like I said in my intro, that you have identified where the students got it wrong, where the parents got it wrong, where the teachers and school leaders got it wrong, where the government got it wrong, and where the society got it wrong. So we are going to start with the students. The normal thing is for many people to think students failed, and the student will reply, whenever they got their results, why gave me?
They failed me.
They failed me. They failed me. And the parents will say, he failed. It's like we are passing the buck. So today is about looking at what everybody that we have identified in this chain must do differently, so that at the end of the day, we are going to have a good outcome in the various external examinations that our students, our children are sitting for. And my first question is this for the students. Sir, from your years of experience as a teacher and as a school leader, what if somebody asks you, what one habit should a student change by tomorrow morning that can ensure that he gets a good result?
Thank you very much. That's a difficult question. If you ask me to just identify one out of numerous reasons or numerous factors that can positively influence the performance of a student. But I think the most important one is this habit of procrastination with respect to academic task. Because if you are given assignment, I will do it. You get engaged in so many things, especially what you call the social media distraction. In my book, I talked of the concept of ariwoja. And that is, I was actually examining those things that will not allow you to achieve your set goals. So in this case, one of the major ariwoja for students is actually the social media distraction. There could be other too, but the most prevalent today, somebody who cannot secure even 1 square meal daily will have a phone, an Android phone. The student having Android phone. And the moment we were just coming around, somebody was on the lift, and that person got to where she was supposed to. And she forgot because she was right. We had to remind her, you are going to floor 3. And then she woke up. So there could be other things that could lead to procrastination with respect to academic tasks, not doing academic tasks on time. Let us assume you have a good school, you have good teachers will have done their own. But when students sit for exam, they still fail. So that is what I think should be the most important factor that we need to address. And that could come in terms of addressing the mindset of the students, such that whether somebody is pushing them or not, they have that self-determination to want to do it right.
So let me follow up on that. You have identified distractions, especially the social media. As a father and also as a teacher and principal of repute, how do you think students can manage social media without sacrificing academic performance?
Thank you so much. I understand that even the manufacturers of the Android phone will not allow its children to have access to the phone until they are about 16 years old. It's late now. But the level of education today, we will still be depriving them of the opportunity of accessing so many things. I think control use will be important. I don't know whether we can look at developing an application that when it is on your phone, you can only access academic things on the phone, at least for some period of time. Because there is this argument about should students take phone to the school or not. In Oyo State, the government has banned taking phones to the school. But I'm not too sure of the implementation. They still hide. So probably what we can do, which I know is possible, is developing an application that will restrict accessibility of the students to certain websites.
Don't you think that parents have a role to play in this matter?
It is number one. You know, the best way to handle such is to have a student, a child that is well convinced, that understand the benefits of not wasting his or her time. And that's self-conviction. If a student can, if a parent can do that, then, because you won't prevent your son or your daughter from going to mix with other students from other parents. But if you have, for instance, somebody once said that, look, if you want somebody to imbibe a good habit, then push that person to openly speak severally against that habit. If you do want somebody to keep away from a particular habit, teach that person and let that person become an advocate. So each time he wants to assess it, you look at, I've told people this is not good enough. So why should I? Because we have used so many, we've developed so many ways of saying they won't do, they still go ahead to do it.
That brings me to the issue of discipline.
Exactly.
What role does self-discipline play in academic success?
That is number one. That's number one. Self-discipline will lead to focus. It is going to minimize distraction. Distraction is anything that will not allow you to achieve your set goal. And so, when you are delaying, you will tell yourself, no, this is not what I'm supposed to. It's not, because that correction will come from within, not from somebody. There are instances when parents will say, don't access this phone, don't do this, don't do that. Sometimes when you wake up and you go to your children's room, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you'll be shocked.
You have done it.
They are fully awake. So, these are issues that. But if somebody is disciplined enough, and there's that self-conviction, he will be his own police.
Let me also share this with our listeners out there. My baby of the house, when he was in SS1, I told him that if you could score 90 and above in all your subjects, I will give you a phone. To be honest with you, in my mind, I never thought he could score.
He would do it.
He would do 90. So that 90 became a motivation for him. He became so serious. Even in further mathematics, my son got 97 in further mathematics. And after I got the result, he just brought the result back to me and said, Daddy, I fulfilled my own side of the agreement. What about you? In my mind of minds, I never intended to buy him that phone. But my integrity was now at stake. That if I now fail...
You didn't think twice.
I didn't think twice. I never thought that he would score 14 subjects, 90 and above. I never thought it was possible. And I had no choice. I had to buy the phone just to save my face. Okay, because his mind was still impressionable. Whatever he has about me, he may carry it to the end of his life. Yeah. That my dad doesn't keep his words.
That will lead to some challenges.
Of course.
Challenges of unintended consequences.
Unintended consequences. That was what I discovered. Because after that, his grades started coming down. And then we had to fight until he wrote the exam in SS3. Yes, he tried though. But in my mind, I still convicted myself that I contributed to this. That if I had not bought that phone for him in SS1, perhaps he would have gotten a better result. And when I say better result, he got A and B's. But
you weren't expecting B.
I wasn't expecting it would have been it would have been better than that, but definitely that distraction was there. And so what I'm saying to parents,
you didn't think of an alternative agreement again. No. An alternative agreement is if you don't get 90 and above, I will retrieve the phone.
I will retrieve the phone. So we have just seen what students should do.
Yeah.
So that the blame will no longer be on you.
Yeah.
If you as a student, you are listening to us this afternoon, Dr. Fatasi has told you what to do, what to avoid, the issue of discipline. And the final question for the students, can you tell us the habits that distinguish a successful student from the one that may not do well?
Thank you so much. The first habit is sound planning.
Okay.
There shouldn't be a student who does not know how to plan to succeed. And so, if the planning is sound, we should train them to plan to succeed. And when they do, then they'll be able to organize their activities, and that will guide them towards succeeding. And then that is when focus will come in. Focus will come in. You have the plan already. Then you are focused, less distraction. And then for the parents, like you said, appropriate motivation. And they should not make the mistake you made. Because when you want to motivate you, think twice about what you are using to motivate. Whatever you are going to do should continue to push the student towards that success point.
When we come back, we shall be looking at what parents must fix. Today is a day that we fix all the problems that you identified last week. We'll be right back. Welcome back, our listeners out there. This is Oxygen FM 96.9, and we are reaching you from the Knowledge Hub, Ibadan. I still have with me my guest, Dr. Are Fasasi, and we are talking about the solutions to the problems of students failing examinations. Dr. Fasasi just gave us hints on what students must fix. Any student wants good results at the end of the day. He has identified the issue of procrastination, the issue of discipline. And now we are going to move on to what parents themselves must fix. Last week, Dr. Fasasi identified the fact that the home is the first school for any child, and the parents have a lot of things to do, that they should not outsource the training of their children to the teachers alone and come to school and say, Eban Bawi, Eban Tori Eshe. You as parents, you also have your roles to play. And my first question on that, Dr. Fasasi, is that what is the most important thing parents must do to support learning for their children?
Thank you so much. It's going to be interesting, the angle I'm going to look at it.
Right.
And then the first thing parents should fix is themselves.
Right.
Parents should fix themselves. Do you know that some parents don't send their children to school at the early stages? They teach them themselves, and they grow to become brilliant. However, something will be missing. There are things you don't learn
the confines of your home.
In the confines of the home. You don't learn them in reading books, because there are lessons that are learned in interacting with others that will be missing. For instance, the way you deal with the issue of bullying is most unlikely that you have bullying in the house, but in the school, the way your words will react to some situations, but those situations may not be present in the home. So the first thing they should fix is actually fix themselves. The second thing they should fix is about the study habit of the students, of their children, because they need to manage them. The study habit properly. There are our own parents taught us how to read. My father was a primary school teacher, And I learned so much from him. He will ask me to go and sleep, to rest. He will be the one to wake me up because I missed him when I got to the university. Those things were not there again. I will be reading. He will sit down. He will doze off. He will wake up to find me still reading. And then I started cultivating the habits. And he will give you some tasks to do. But when I got to Ife,
Great Ife,
there was nobody to teach, to stand by me to say this is, I was very young then, so this is what you are supposed to do. And we had distraction. The Scala show, so many things. So it was a very difficult period for me.
So how can parents now monitor learning without becoming too overbearing?
It's not going to be too overbearing. When you do things like that, you had motivational task to it. You give talk, you inspire the children too. And then it is not going to be you being present always. There are times you just pretend you are not there. Or you deliberately will not be there. So that you see what this boy or this girl will do in your absence. It's also good to find a good school. Be careful about the school you choose for your children. There are so many habits that are learned in school that parents will cry if they know. But when you are careful in choosing the school, I mean, schools have reputations. That is one thing about reputation. People know what they do in each school. Recently, because of what happened in is it Ondo State or Ogun State, when students were doing signing of ceremony.
Yeah.
And I love the step taken by the Ministry of Education. But they need to go beyond that. You see girls behaving as if they are prostitutes or something, just because they completed WAEC exam.
When the result is not even out.
When the result is not even out. And these are students that, when you start tearing your uniform, you will have forgotten that you are going to sit for NECO. Some of them will have to come back to come and receive the exam. And so they will now ask the parent to buy another uniform for them. So these are issues. And I think it is important parents understand the school they are taking their children to.
Let me follow up on that. As a teacher and as a principal, former principal, from your experience and from what you have seen over the years, what would you advise parents to stop doing immediately, and what you advise them to start doing immediately?
Okay. This immediately of a thing is is a challenge. Now, parents should
let me
living.
What I'm saying is that if there is one thing they should just start, it's not that the only thing they will do, because you have identified that only not one factor.
There are so many factors.
So many factors. But one thing that is very important they should do, then others will follow. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now, I've said we talked about getting a good school for their children. Because if you don't have a good school, the problem will be too many for you to handle. Now, if I take my child to a school, that boy will leave the house maybe 7 o'clock. I will expect him to be in school before 7:45, and I will be there 8:30. I will ask to see the boy, whether the boy is in the class or not. Or sometimes, I remember in my secondary school day, there was a man who gave money to his children to go to the school. And he drove to that school and was waiting for the children. And the boys came in 9 o'clock, not knowing that the father had been in that school waiting for them. He requested to punish them, and he said he wanted it done on the assembly ground, and the school acceded to that request. So the following day, he brought them to the assembly, gave them 10 strokes of the cane, and you know, those boys never came late
to school again.
And so, but you know what we have today: punish a student for anything. The second day you see the parents coming
invading the school, some
invading,
even with dogs.
Exactly, it has happened. I don't want to mention schools. When you see the mother mobilizing thugs to come and invade the school simply because a child was punished. Not even serious light punishment.
So we have seen what the parents should do, and if you're a parent out there, you have heard Dr. Fasasi on
there are two parents.
Okay.
There are unprepared parents.
All right.
Who are not trained themselves. So it's not likely those one will bring forth trained children. And that is likely what we have today. People get into marriage unprepared. For instance, you know, if you are in public school, you see so many of these parents just getting married because the girl got pregnant. They are not prepared for the marriage, and so what kind of children, when they do that, they say, okay, my lolly okwe, no, see, because he's not ready. The mother is not ready, the father is not ready. And you find out that some significant percentage of students in public schools today stay with their grandparents who do not have the energy to manage those children.
We have had situation when I was in service, when a parent in Lagos brought the child to Ibadan. SS1 student, for crying out loud, and he wanted to rent a room for him, and the boy will be living alone. SS1 student. I said, what around nonsense?
Negative peer influence.
I had to explain to him that if this is what you are going to do, I'm not going to admit this boy in my school. Of course, he ended up taking the child to another school, and I'm sure the child will be admitted in another school. If only you give me a guardian, because this is a timing bomb waiting to explode. A boy of 14 allowed to live alone. Only, I mean, the boy will be doing whatever he likes.
The ones under their parents. What happened to them? Not to talk of. I carried out a research. It was not fully academic.
Okay.
Anytime they brought a child to me who has just misbehaved, you know the first thing I will say? I will say, you are living with your grandparents. And 3 times out of every 5, the answer will be yes. At least I experienced that in about 2 secondary schools. I don't want to mention, I don't think it's my last school. But you will ask them, you are living with your grandparents, and they will tell you yes. 3 out of every 5, that's about 60%.
I think I also had similar experience while I was in service. Majority of the students that misbehaved and the actions were brought to my attention came from dysfunctional homes.
Exactly.
Either they are living alone with their father, or they are living alone with their mother,
or they are living with their
grandfather or grandmother.
The mother is with another husband.
So parents should seriously think about this, because the way we conduct our lives will to a large extent reflect on the academic outcomes.
Where is that adage in Yoruba that says torí ọmọ mo fi ń ṣiṣẹ́? Torí ọmọ ni mo fi ń ṣiṣẹ́. And that means your attention, your focus, your energy
should be on the child.
Should be on bringing up assets to the nation.
So we have seen what students must fix, what the parents must fix, and now we are moving to the top down when we come back. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is still Professional Edge Education Unlocked on Oxygen FM 96.9, where we inform, inspire, and ignite. And we are still on the topic that we started last week: who failed the students? And today we are looking at what must we fix. We have seen what the students must fix. We have seen what the parents must fix. Now we are going to what the schools must fix. And my first question on that is that, as a principal of repute, I can tell you this on here. I've heard several times teachers telling me, Mr. Kennedy, your friend is too strict. Your friend is this. Your friend is that. So if you are looking for what the school must do, what should principals prioritize if they want better academic outcomes? What should principals prioritize?
I taught the students about 5 mantras in my school. I'm going to just pick on one of them. Today, if you go to Ibadan Boys High School and you ask the student, ask any student, the parent at home know this, and if you are not a parent of any student of that school, just get any student of that school, ask him this question: tell me where you are from. Tell me from which school you are, or tell me about your school. And they will say, the student will say, I'm from Ibadan Boys High School, where Paris does not take place. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because when I came in, I looked at various schools in Ibadan. Not even Ibadan, in the country. I know the direction of the thoughts in most of these schools, the behavior of the students. Overwhelming percentage of students in the country today do not see anything bad in cheating. And so I just developed that mantra. Tell me about yourself, and the student will echo. I am from Ibadan Boys High School, where Paris does not take place. And each time they repeat that mantra, they will know this is not a place where you can try that. I know the challenges I faced, even within some of the staff.
Even with parents.
Even with parents. Even some stakeholders. Somebody once said that if that is what everybody is doing, let them do it. And I said, I would rather go to another school. And then
it will not happen under my watch.
It's not going to happen under my watch. But we thank God today. I was invited to a commissioning program last week. No, it was last week. And I was asked in the school. Right. And I was asked to deliver a goodwill message. And when I got there, I said, tell me about yourself. The SS3 students were all there because they are the ones in school now doing the exam. They all echoed. I felt so happy. And so, leadership in every institution matters a lot. Integrity of leaders. It is not what we have today where everybody is running after money. One thing I found out is that if you do it right, that appreciation that did not come initially will come eventually. When I was having my retirement program, people came to me and asked me, was it a marriage ceremony? Because I had so many gifts.
I can testify to that. I was there.
2 vehicles. I loaded 2 vehicles with gifts from parents, from students, from some. And these were people who said I was too strict. No, Akilo Day. But eventually, many of them, even the parents, realized the need for that. They said, any school that produces a brilliant student, such students should be able to say, this is my results. We have had people who got convinced after doing an exam years and they returned their certificate. I'm sorry, my conscience says I should return this because it is not my work.
Fantastic. So we have talked about continuing professional development for teachers. And I know I must commend Governor Seyi Makinde on this issue. I was just talking with Dr. Adebari this afternoon with the MD of Oxygen FM, and I mentioned that I did not go for any professional development until I was 26 years.
The one organized by
in service.
The government of His Excellency.
And it occurred to me.
And it was a quality program.
Quality program.
Dr. Adebari was also there.
So we when we look at that, if government is not sponsoring continue professional development, what advice will you give to principals of public secondary schools and then owners of private schools? Because things keep changing every day. What you thought you knew last year would have become outdated by this year. So what advice would you give to principals on what they can do to make sure that their teachers are up to date? Because I believe strongly that you cannot give what you don't have.
Yes. Now, when I was the head of zone, TESCOM Zone 1, within 3 weeks of my becoming the head of zone, we got a workshop organized for principals of 114 secondary schools under the zone. I had that idea before becoming the head of zone. So I invited the chairman of ANCOPS for all the zone, shared my ideas with them, and they bought into it. You know, it was ANCOPS that actually funded the program. We looked at our facilitators, some of them that I know, who were even happy that it was happening. And there is no record of such having happened before. I mean, facilitated both by the zonal TESCOM and the ANCOPS. In fact, the chairperson of TESCOM gave the keynote address. And in my school, at least twice a session, we got workshop organized for teachers. Well, not even for teachers, for all members of staff, even non-teaching members of staff were always were incorporated into it. And you see how some of even this non-teaching staff were, you appreciate it. And these things are lacking, generally lacking. Some principals don't even see any reason to do it because they believe it is government that should do it.
So our principals,
a number of I was involved in training and workshop even for private schools. Some notable secondary schools in Ibadan here engaged me for such services. And I want to say we have more of it in private schools than in public schools. And that would definitely rub off on their performance.
I think I can say it publicly in your presence now that when I was at Loyola
Especially
College,
when
I was
you
at
are
Loyola
no
College as a
longer in
prince-
service.
at
You
Loyola
are
College
no
as a-
longer in service.
you were in service then, and I remember that
Okay.
you came.
Exactly. You
I
invited
invited
me.
you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I invited with Dr. Aliu,
Mm.
another person, to come and teach
Exactly.
my staff.
You did. You did.
And when I was also at another school, that's in Gabriel Mokola,
Yeah.
I also invited people.
That's
So let our principals begin to think outside the box. What can they do better? What legacies are they leaving behind? It's not enough to just sit down and wait for government to do things.
And you know,
There
the
are-
funny thing is that many principals will always think about cost. And like I have always said, it is because they don't have ideas. Ideas bring money. There are things you can use even within the school.
Even you can use relationship.
Relationship, of
When-
course.
when you came, it
of
wasn't as
course,
if I didn't pay. I didn't pay you to come.
Relationship.
It's a relationship.
And you know, we always say that whatever money can buy,
relationship can pay for it.
Do they have such relationship?
Mm.
Eh?
Our dear principals of public secondary schools.
Yeah. Not those who are under me. I train them
So
to be far better.
we thank God for that. So let's ask this last question on what the schools must fix. How can schools deliberately inculcate reading culture in the students, especially principals of public secondary schools,
Okay.
even when there are no library? And let me say this here. When I was principal of St. Gabriel, and then I had it in mind, talking about thinking outside the box, I had it in mind that I wanted a standard library. I knew the MD of Oxygen FM then, and I came to him, contacted him to solicit for help. And he said he would come to see the school first. What I was asking him for were just textbooks to fill the library. And when the MD came and saw our school, he said, Mr. Kinyade, even this environment will not be good enough, even if I give you books. And instead of giving us books, which he later gave us, he first of all repaired a classroom that we now converted to a library, did the tiling there, put shelves there, put fans there. And at the end of the day, I didn't spend a dime. So when the place was open, I put a plaque there. You will see my name there till today. It's a legacy that this library was done. The same thing I did. So what can they do in present day?
Thank you so much. Now, if you put rather than free period on the timetable,
Okay.
you can have reading period.
All right.
If your school has has a library, the student should be in the library at that particular time. Not all the students all the classes will have period at the same time. So that means you can still manage the population.
Okay.
But a personal experience too. I left, I can say it proudly, one of the best libraries in any secondary school when I was in Ibadan Boys High School. And it was relationship. I related with a particular set and told them my ideas about having a standard library, a very comfortable library. In fact, we thought about when there is no light, would that library be comfortable for the student? So we chose a location very close to our field, and it was always fresh air coming. So even if there is no light, students still enjoyed being there. And if you go to Ibadan Boys High School today, ask for their library, and then you see the facilities there. In fact, we have a computer programmed in a way that when you want to access any book, just go there. It's going to tell you precisely where that book is.
Let's quickly move from what the principals must do.
Encourage them to have libraries in the school. They can convert the classroom, manage it, talk to all students, talk to friends, and so on. Even members of staff can donate books to the library and set the pace by being one of those who will do it too as a principal.
Let us now quickly shift to what the government must do.
Yeah.
There are insinuations that the grants are not being paid.
Are the insinuations, you know?
So what would you advise government to do concerning this?
Priority. I have seen happenings where funds are instantly released. So I think my advice to the government is to make education its priority. It is not good news to run a school without grants, a public school without grants. In a situation where you are not supposed to collect a dime from the student, from the parents. So I think the first thing the government should fix, and I'm encouraging the current government to do that within a short time, pay the backlog of grants that have not been paid, and then set in motion the payment of appropriate grant. I'm not talking of appropriate grant for the ones that have, whatever is supposed to have been released in the past, release, and then have an appropriate a system of developing what is the need of the school in terms of running grants. And then you look at other facilities that will aid teaching and learning in the school. But as it is now, the most important thing the government should fix now is pay the grants, the backlog of the grants, and ensure that utilization of the grants, ensure proper utilization of the grants is also important.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at it from the side of the government alone, then you are not going to get the result if you are not looking at the appropriate utilization of the grants. So that's one thing the government should fix. I have not called for free education.
Okay.
Because we had experience where in the same school where some people paid sponsored exam for NECO, and they paid into the parents' accounts. And when it was time for NECO, we didn't see the parents coming to pay. It was a terrible experience.
Let's move to the society. What should the society do? What should their reward system be that will encourage the students to know that hard work pays?
What the society should do to encourage the students?
Value
education.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Value education. You have various instances where parents will say, how can your man learn you? I'm a pony if you jẹun. Sa lọ kí wọ́n rí pọ̀ ọ̀ka mẹ́wàá. Ọ̀kàwé mẹ́wàá. Today, the society does not value education. The society values money. It is that same society that is encouraging school education is a scam. Is it education is a scam?
Education is a scam. Education is a scam.
Generation before you. So, because there is no value for education. And then when I say education, I'm talking of quality education. Because that's another thing.
Yeah. So how can communities support schools? Let me give you an example. when I was in service, and I got to the place, I went around the surrounding communities. I went down, introduced myself to them, and then our students would jump the fence, and the next thing I did, I told them, whenever you see any of our students,
jump the fence.
Jump the fence. You see them
Give me a
odd
call.
hours. Give me a call. Do a video of that boy, and the following day we'll just pick the boy in the class. He left school before time.
Yeah.
How I wish
There's so much that the community can do. Now, the first thing I did when I got to Ibadan Boys High School, I instituted a program called Operation Know Your Neighbors.
Okay.
I took my management team around. Oxygen FM was not here. We would have been here by that time. Went to the major corporate organizations around. Do you know by the time we completed that program, we had different offers from this organization to assist the school. And we said, what was going to be our feedback, our give back? And some of them suggested what we should do. And each time they see a student misbehaving, they had my number, so they will contact us. And the society became part of the watchdog for the students. So these are some of the things that we can put in place. All boils down to good leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Fasasi, for creating time for us out of your busy schedule to be with us
Being here.
these 2 weeks. Our dear listeners at home and anywhere you are watching us from or listening to us from, this is Professional Hedge from Oxygen FM 96.9, where we inform, inspire, and ignite. We have been looking at a very difficult conversation. Who failed the students? Not why did students, where do students fail examinations? Who failed? And we have been able to say that the failure might not have been as a result of the students alone. We have seen that the parents have a role to play to ensure success of their students. The teachers have roles to play. The leadership of the school has roles to play. The government and the society. Like I said, the report card may carry a child's name, but the responsibility for whatever is in that result is a collective one. And I want to leave you with this. Yorubas have a saying, wọ́n ní ẹnìkan ló ń bímọ, igba èèyàn ló ń wò. Ìtumọ̀ rẹ̀ ni pé a person, only a couple will give birth to a child, but that child will be trained by about 200 people. Not the teachers,
in those days,
the society, the government. We all have a role to play. If in actual fact we are looking for good achievement scores in our external examinations, look at all these things that we have been talking about.
Yeah.
Let government fix what should be fixed. Let grants be paid. Let libraries be resuscitated. Let textbooks be given. And at the end of the day, we shall all come back here and say thank you. We thank you for being with us this week. Next week, when we shall be looking at another issue on education. Thank you. God bless you.
Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Good afternoon. Here is the news on Oxygen FM 96.9. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of the National Health Technology and Data Analysis Office, a new agency designed to coordinate Nigeria's digital health agenda, and has appointed Dr. Obi Adigwe, Director General of the National